We really started with something that I don't think anybody would characterize as a first-class airport. It was almost like a sort of a bus station for airplanes. And so when we decided that we needed to go out and find somebody, it was, it was really a case of finding an individual who had leadership abilities, who understood the development process, and could manage an airport that was intended to be a growing airport.
The candidates that applied were outstanding. One in particular was unanimous vote.
That unanimous vote went to Jim Rice, then a 39-year-old from Springfield, Illinois. Getting his vote for Flint wasn't an easy sell for the newly appointed authority.
My first impression was not good, I can say that honestly. It was an old terminal, it was very dirty, dingy, and I wanted to turn around, get back on the plane, and go home, but I didn't.
Instead, Rice made Flint his new home. In 1990, he accepted the offer as airport director, rolled up his sleeves, and quickly got to work. With a rundown terminal, cracked runways, and no money to fix it all, the challenges were endless.
We had to pick an engineer, an architect for the everything that was going to happen. When Jim Rice came, he had his marching orders, and those were to make the airport grow, and we needed a terminal in the worst way.
How did we find the money? We started going to the Federal Aviation Administration, Michigan Department of Transportation, the Federal Highway Administration, and we showed them our plans. You know, we want to move the major highway, we want to buy 30-some parcels of land, we want to build a new terminal, tear down the old one, and by the way, we need all new runways and taxiways.
And I remember those times, that period, as being somewhat difficult because people expected immediate results. Well, airports just don't spring up out of the ground. It takes a little bit of time. There was design and engineering. There was lots of changes just in terms of the roadway configurations here. And then ultimately the airport construction itself took a few years. So the first few years were difficult.
Bristol Road and the railroad lines surrounding the road had to be completely refigured. That alone was a multi-million-dollar expense and a time-consuming process. But with an ambitious airport director and supportive board members, deadlines became shorter and the impossible took on a new meaning.
The old Bristol Road went basically right through the airport where it sits right now. So there was some land acquisition that needed to take place. There was new engineering around the roads. There was new road construction. It was a big project. But it was a big plan.
I remember one of the first meetings, we had over 30 agencies in the room and all saying, well, that can't be done. You got to do this, you have to do that. And we're sitting there taking notes thinking, okay, who's that guy's boss? And that guy's boss works for this guy. And you start calling your state reps and your congressmen. And again, when they're all on the same page, it got done, and they got done very quickly. Environmental studies, they said, would take 5 years. We completed in 3 months, and wrote it off one roadblock at a time and made things happen. That's what the community wanted.
By October of 1993, 2.5 years after design plans were drawn up and implemented, the new airport terminal was ready for the public.
I look back at that and I think, it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun too. It was rewarding.
Total happiness. It was like seeing a little dream come true.
Though the doors to the terminal were open, the uphill battle continued.